Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with.
Nerdarchy Ted.
Today we cover a new Warlock patron from Mike Mearls for Lolth.
Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with us.
So we have a pseudo-unearthed arcana and unofficial unearthed arcana.
So the unofficial to the unofficial WotC thing.
Yeah, Mike Mearls had put together a Warlock patron for Lolth specifically and threw it up on Twitter.
He was saying that it was related to the game that he was running, so it's like, well, if the dude who's making the game, or one of the dudes making the game, makes a thing,
Yeah, well, he's in charge of making the thing anyway, at the very least. So it's definitely worth looking at, and so it's a Lolth thing. And it's, super thematic. You get some cool abilities. It's just a quick, one-pager.
And it was up on Twitter, so I had to, strip out the abilities so that we could, kind of talk about it and whatnot. But it's a full page write up. Hopefully it'll be a download somewhere at some point in time, or added somewhere to make it official because it's really cool.
Right, or like semi-official, official playtest.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's like pre-playtest mode.
All right, so you get, as you would do with any other Warlock patron, you get a list of spells that are an extended spell list. These become spells for you as a Warlock, and for this one it's actually important because it matters later on. First level, you get Fairy Fire and Jump. Second level, you're getting Darkness and Web. Third level, you're getting Fear and Vampiric Touch. Fourth level, you get Dimension Door, Giant Insect. Not familiar with this one. Is that one you're
Yeah, so Giant Insect, I've looked it up before and read it before, but we had to double check on that one anyway. So basically you need centipedes, spiders, a wasp, or spider. Scorpion. That's the other one, and it's like 1 scorpion, 5 wasps, 3 spiders, 10 centipedes, and presto's changeo, you make them giant.
You put them out there, spell makes them bigger. Okay. So the fact that you can get spiders totally works. 5th level, you get Hold Monster or Cloud Kill. It's always interesting to see what they put in the 5th level, because by the time you get to that level of spells, they're usually, powerful and not usually as thematic. So you got to do a little bit of work on those. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, Cloud Kill works because, it's poison, right? Yes. So there's no issues there whatsoever.
Hold Monster totally fits the charmed aspect of, the Drow and Lolth culture. So it works for me. I just, anytime I'm seeing that revised spell list, I always like, well, what do we add in there? Because those are the hardest for me when I'm trying to make stuff.
Here's the thing. For Warlock, it's like, okay, it's cool. You have these other choices, but at the end of the day, you're a Warlock and you barely have any spells anyway. You get like a handful. You're stuck at 1 or 2 for a long time. Eventually, you get up to a whopping 4, plus your Arcanum. So, if you're not getting a lot of rest, a lot of short rest, it doesn't matter anyway. Right. These are thematic. These are cool. But as always with the Warlock, it's really hard to pick and choose because that they're so important to you. And it's almost like you almost have to take Hex, right, if you're a Warlock, to really get the most out of them. I mean, I know you don't, but it is like one of the best spells in the game.
It's true. Now, beyond that first level, you get the Dark Queen Servitor. Now, what this means is Lolth is the Spider Queen, so in order to serve her best, you got to turn yourself into a spider.
Of course.
How else are you going to serve her? So you get to turn into a giant spider. You get it doesn't say that you shift like a druid and you take the statistics of the other creature. So I'm a little puzzled on that, and I'd like to get clarification. But you get +2 to your AC, +3 temporary hit points per level. You get a bite attack, which you can choose to use strength or dex for the attack, and your bite damage is equal to this chart. 1st through 4th, you do a die 10. 5th through 10th, 2 die 10. 11th through 16th, 3 die 10. 17 plus 4 die 10. So it's all poison damage as opposed to piercy damage. So you find that thing that's immune to poison, don't bite them.
Yeah, you're kind of boned.
You get a climb speed, which you can go up vertical surfaces and on ceilings without a problem, equal to your normal walk speed. So you can mix and match that with spells and anything else that you might have going on. So I think that part is pretty cool. But what matters the most as a spider, you retain your spellcasting ability for the specific spells that are on your expended spell list. So you want to cast Jump or Darkness or Web or Vampiric Touch or Fear, no problems. You can do so while you're a spider. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing to add in there, and yeah, it is definitely unique and different because the only thing that can really do that is a very high level of druid at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And now again, here's where the limited spell casting of the warlock actually works in your favor because it doesn't matter that you only have this short list to pull from because you only get so many spells anyways. What's the difference?
Very true. We move on to sixth level ability, and it's when you're changing into a spider, it resets at a short rest. So like with almost everything else warlock related, you can do it once until you take a break.
Yeah, lots of breaks.
Sixth level, you move into a really cool thing that goes into the charmed aspect of, Drow and Lolth. You can, as a bonus action, any creature that you can see can make a charisma save. If they fail, they become charmed for you for either the next minute or until one of you or your allies causes them damage. Not make an attack, causes them damage. So pretty interesting. Most powerful portion of this, if you're charmed by this feature, you have vulnerability to poison damage.
And on top of that, you're doing it as a bonus action, so you could technically do this, and then and then attempt to attack somebody.
Yes. So listen, you can give them vulnerability damage, and bite them for poison damage. So you can charm them as a spider because it doesn't say you can't. Mm-hmm. They become charmed, and then you bite them, and I do 4d10 poison damage. Let's do 8d10 poison damage.
It's a lot of poison.
That's a lot of poison.
But wait, there's more that comes in to play later.
Yes, there's a really cool thing at 14th level. So that is 6th level is called Poisoned Beauty. At 10th level, you get Spider Queen's Chosen, and this is one of those things that I'm sorry, Mr. Mearls. Once you cross that halfway gap, 10th level, giving people resistance to non-magical damage, just don't feel it's worth the oomph. But what that means is when you use your servitor power and turn into a giant spider, you get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons. Now, if you're playing a game where that's the normal, well, then okay, then it's fantastic. But usually in the games that I've played, by the time you get up there, everything's got magic attacks all over the place. So
I don't know. I would actually have to look and see. Like now I'm curious because we were kind of talking about this and we brought it up before. Now I'm really curious to see how many monsters actually have that into there where, their attacks are considered magic. Now I know there are a lot of them that do that, especially higher level. But do enough of them do it to be like, this is worthless now? So that part I'm kind of curious about. I'm gonna have to see if D&D Beyond has the filter to see that like special attacks are magic, just so I can go and see how true, because we might be wrong.
That's true.
It's happened once or twice before, but then I was mistaken. No. So I'm a little curious about that, and then we get into their last ability.
Their last ability, as we said, there's something that can give you a real sock. 14th level, Kiss of the Spider Queen, Kiss of the Spider Queen.
It's not nearly as sexy as it sounds.
It's not actually a kiss. You have to touch them. Something within your melee range, you reach out and touch them.
I would say this is a bad touch, though.
But, yeah. So, they make a Constitution saving throw. If they succeed, it's half damage. But it's 12 die 10, either psychic or poison damage. Now, if you've already charmed them, and they're not normally resistant, bam! Load them up with 24 die 10 poison damage. If they are, well, then you know what? Let's just hit them with 12 die 10 psychic damage, and off you go.
I wonder. This does bring up an interesting point though, because you're giving them vulnerability, and I don't know. Maybe it's in the book somewhere, and I just missed it. And I've glossed over it or whatever. But what if you're immune and then you to something, and then you get vulnerability to the same something?
I believe in this. As I would rule it, immune is immune. You can't take it down a notch. If you're resistant and you became vulnerable, it's treated as normal. But immune doesn't get dropped down.
See, I'm not sure. As a DM, I might rule that they now have resistance instead of immunity. But yeah, each GM can rule how they want in their game, and also it might actually be written in the rules somewhere. I'm going to have to look that one up because now I'm curious about how that would work. Now, this is great for a Lolth Warlock Patron Pact, but I think it's even better as just if you have some kind of spider being or creatures in your world. This is a great template for it. Like, it works perfect for Lolth, but it could work. It's generic enough to work with anything that's kind of themed with spiders.
Now, general spiders, I don't know how much the charm thing, works out. But
come on. The spider said to the fly, "Come into my parlor." I think it still works. Just the nature of spiders and their creepiness. As we're going through this and we're discussing this, it really makes me think of any kind of spider. But specifically, I started thinking about the Lord of the Rings books and movies. And there's two different instances that really came to mind, and one is when they're in the wild elf forest and they get poisoned by all the spiders, right? And the other, the Mirkwood, and the other one is when Frodo and Sam are in the caves and they get attacked by Shelob.
Shelob, yeah.
Like that could definitely that could be a Warlock patron in my mind, or and maybe one of the great old ones would also work as well, but flavored with spider instead.
Right.
Because they were pretty varied. So if you don't want to just do a generic, all the great old ones, I think this would work. I think it's a great basis, and I think it's actually one of the better ones where I don't think it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, you could absolutely play this as is. Like I said, in my games, I think the 10th level ability is not as powerful as it could be, but as a beta, play test, it's definitely something that, I would totally allow it in my game and maybe, bump the 10th level thing with something else.
Just get rid of the magic item tag. So you just, anything, you could do that. Might be a little bit strong. I don't know. But the question is, what do you guys think? Are you using it in your game? Would you use it in your game? We got a place where you can tell us all about that, and that's comments down below while you're at it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.